Folks, the sea is obviously very angry with us, and rightfully so. It has many reasons for feeling that way. We haven't done a great job of taking care of it, and the sea creatures whose intelligence most closely matches our own want us to know that they know. And all things considered, they've shown a tremendous amount of restraint. Aside from a recent incident involving a whale slapping a fisherman in the face with its tail and giving him a concussion.
Allegedly.
The whales have strictly used property damage to get their point across. And despite sinking or disabling countless boats off the coast of Spain in recent years, not a single person has been injured. The lying media recently tried to refute this with news of a woman being seriously injured in yet another orca attack on a boat's rudder. But if you read past the headline, you find that she was actually injured during the subsequent Coast Guard rescue. Not by the orcas.
Humans once again.
Orcas fully exonerated.
Yeah.
Nice try, global news.
But meanwhile, elsewhere in the world and elsewhere in the cetacean family tree, things are unfortunately getting violent. Normally, a close encounter with a dolphin is considered a rare delight, and it's something that people do pay good money for. Dolphins are kind, gentle creatures who would never just randomly attack beachgoers, right?
I saw a documentary called Flipper where that dolphin was basically like the family dog.
I saw a documentary called King of the Hill where that dolphin really loved Hank Hill.
Friendly dolphins, yes.
But not so fast, because over in Japan, a stretch of beach has been terrorized for at least 3 years by a lone bottlenose dolphin, making any dip into the ocean a potential trip to the emergency room or the morgue. They can kill sharks after all.
They can.
To be clear, this dolphin, it hasn't killed anyone yet, but dolphins, they regularly do go toe-to-toe with sharks, and they win. So it could if it wanted to. Those noses,
yeah,
they're hard, they're fierce. They could really mess up your core right here.
Yeah, I mean, like, even if it doesn't bite you or anything, just like the speed and mass that they have, like, it can come at you and just like break every bone in your body.
Look, I could be wrong because it's been a long time since I researched this, but I believe the way that they like get sharks to go away is by jabbing them in the gills.
Yeah.
With that nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're killers.
So, besides all that, dolphin attacks on humans are actually very rare. So what exactly is going on here? Here's NBC News.
Japanese broadcaster NHK reported on August 20th that a man in his 50s was bitten on both hands that morning by a dolphin that approached him as he tried to shoo it away at a beach in Suruga, a city in Fukui Prefecture. He was the 18th dolphin victim since July 21st and the second in as many days. In the past 3 years, 48 people in the area have suffered dolphin bites, NHK reported, leaving some with broken bones. Although it has not been confirmed, the attacks in recent years are widely believed to have been carried out by the same male bottlenose dolphin. The attacks have consistently involved a single dolphin that appears to be on its own, which is unusual considering bottlenose dolphins are a highly social species that sticks closely together in pods. Swimmers in the area are being warned to get out of the water if they see a dolphin. When a dolphin was spotted near the swimming area at a beach in the town of Mihama on August 21st, it was coaxed out to sea by a beach staff member on water skis. Hey, check this out. Last year, there were many incidents in which swimmers were bitten by dolphins. Some even suffered broken bones requiring more than 10 stitches. A Coast Guard notice reads, adding that in many cases, the swimmers were bitten as they approached the dolphins to touch them.
Okay, well, don't approach the dolphin.
Step 1, don't do that.
It also has that dorsal fin that makes it look like a shark to get you to go away.
Yeah, It's easy to avoid. You see them from afar, you're like, oh God. Oh wait, it's a dolphin. I'm gonna go pet that thing.
And what makes this more interesting than a lot of the other attacks, although orcas are incredibly smart, obviously, is dolphins they've gotta be like number 2 or 3 on the planet, right? For intelligence. They're way up there.
They're very smart.
Not only does it know what it's doing it on purpose. And I would say mimicking human behavior of a social outcast in human society as well.
Man.
It doesn't have any friends and it's attacking people? Yeah. Where have we seen this before?
Yeah, it's an incel.
That's true.
It's an incel dolphin. Oh man, when I went to this wedding.
Scientists need to take a different angle on this because I think they're looking in the wrong direction.
I went to this wedding in Cancun at a fucking resort like last month, and I hated it. It's not how I like to travel. But the resort we were at had a dolphin experience there.
Yeah.
Which was 2 piers about 100 feet apart and a underwater fence. And there was like at least 5 dolphins living in this enclosed space.
No.
And every night I was there, after a few drinks, I would start seriously contemplating
Releasing them?
finding some bolt cutters, like getting them out of there. Because I was like, that's gotta suck. It's so small. Those poor dolphins.
Yeah, they do this a lot in Florida. I've never done it. I've only seen dolphins from a boat or jet ski or whatever, but there's places where you can go.
They love going in the sea and traveling great distances, and they can't do that in a space that's like smaller than your average, like,
again, very
housing
intelligent,
lot.
very
Yeah.
intelligent and emotional, and you can visibly see their distress. And
Yeah.
there's a lot to love and learn about these animals that doesn't require touching them or being around them in an enclosed space.
Yeah. But obviously, yeah, approaching any wild animal on purpose is stupid. And it is somewhat comforting to learn that the Japanese are just as dumb as Americans in that regard. But a lot of the accounts of attacks involve people just minding their own business and still getting bitten, getting bones broken, even getting tackled by the dolphin that seems like it's trying to drown them, giving them a good dunk. And it's apparently, based on its dorsal fin, the same dolphin every time, according to marine biologists who have seen photos of it. I guess the fin is like a fingerprint.
Yeah.
And once you get a sense of these dolphins, you're like, oh yeah, that's Dave. He's a fucking asshole.
But now you have like this moment where you're there, you're like, oh God, a dorsal fin. Oh, thank goodness. It's only a dolphin. Oh my God, it's that dolphin.
Yeah, it's the classic horror movie tactic.
Yeah.
Okay, everything's fine. And then the dolphin punches out of its coffin. I don't think so. Yeah. So yeah, it's understandable that local authorities have put up flyers like this one at several beaches. Dolphins are definitely less cute at that angle. That's a lot of teeth. Yeah. You don't want to be looking at that angle in real life. And the text warns that dolphin attacks have been occurring nearby and to get the hell out of the water if you see one. But the question remains, why?
It's not getting laid, that's why.
Did someone give this dolphin a DVD of the 2009 documentary, The Cove? Because yeah, if I was a dolphin, I'd be pissed too. At all Japanese people.
It could have escaped from Cabo or wherever you were. What was it? Cancun. Yeah, maybe it escaped, and now it's getting revenge.
Well, good for him then.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are other slightly more plausible theories than someone gave him a DVD. Here's the New York Times.
Ryoichi Matsubara, director of a local aquarium, said the same dolphin may also have been responsible for this year's attacks, although he had not yet obtained recent footage. The dolphin may be acting out mating behavior, he said, adding that in 2022 and 2023, it was observed trying to press his genitals against people.
Oh.
The Hank Hill problem. Ugh.
We got a coomer.
But in many cases, beachgoers were bitten when they approached or attempted to touch the dolphin, Mr. Matsubara said. Puru Mustika, a lecturer and marine researcher at James Cook University in Australia, said that dolphins can inadvertently harm humans when acting out mating behaviors because of their sheer strength. Quote, dolphins, when they are mating, can be very wild, she said, adding that lunging on top of a human could be a sexual act and a sign that this was a horny, lonely dolphin. We were right! Completely justified!
Horny, lonely dolphins in your area. And by your area, I mean the beach that you are currently at and swimming at.
And do not click this ad because they will beat you up instead of...
Yeah, it's not what you want. Unless, I don't know, maybe some people would be into that.
Wasn't there that guy in Florida that like had a relationship with the dolphin? Yeah.
Classic ETC video, which it's no longer up because
Sean Foe put it up.
The ETC archive did a relaunch at the beginning of this year.
Oh, it did?
For the 10-year anniversary. So they're publishing all the ETC videos
oh God.
in order on their original air dates plus 10 years.
Oh.
So they haven't gotten to the dolphin story
What a
yet.
unique thing that I was completely unaware of. A legacy that it doesn't like... It's just odd, I guess. It's a weird feeling that we've been around so long that there's an archive doing a consistent by date update.
It's a great idea. I would have never thought of it. But yeah, you can go find the ETC archive channel on YouTube and be transported back exactly 10 years.
That's wild. Yeah, all of my creative ideas go into theorizing why dolphins are trying to fight people. I have nothing left for my own channel.
Yeah.
But back to the article. This dolphin could also be naturally aggressive and aggravated by humans trying to touch it, Ms. Mustika said.
Dolphins are usually social pack animals, but solitary dolphins who seek human contact are not uncommon. In the 2000s, a bottlenose dolphin called Moko visited the same coastal stretch in New Zealand for 3 years. He became a national celebrity for his playful interactions with swimmers. but his behavior sometimes veered into the unsettling, such as when he refused to let a woman return to shore.
Uh-oh.
Horrifying, but
yeah.
Oh, there goes Moko. Oh, what's he doing?
Moko, no!
Moko, no, she's not a dolphin. She needs air to breathe.
Moko got a little taste of that celebrity, and he turned into Dolphin
I
Weinstein.
love white women. In 2018, a French town temporarily banned swimming in the ocean after a lone male bottlenose dolphin, nicknamed Zafar, started exhibiting sexual behavior, including rubbing himself against swimmers and boats. Boats are like BBWs to these dolphins. Damn, that's a big,
beautiful water vessel.
Big lady over there. Okay, so yeah, we may be dealing with a rapist dolphin here.
Yeah.
And it's not the kind of behavior you generally associate with dolphins, but Hank Hill famously fell victim to a dolphin's sexual advances. So it's not without precedent.
Mm-hmm.
These things happen in cartoons and real life. Now that dolphin was a captive dolphin, while this one is wild. But in both situations, it's a dolphin with no other dolphins around.
Mm-hmm.
And a dolphin has needs. But while the horny dolphin angle makes sense, this dolphin may just be lonely in general.
A dolphin bunny ranch down there. Yeah.
But back to NBC News' reporting.
The animal involved in the attacks appears to be a sociable solitary dolphin that has become isolated from its normal dolphin society, though it is unclear why, said Elizabeth Hawkins, chief executive and founding director of Dolphin Research Australia. Cast off on their own, the dolphins try and fulfill their natural social urges with other species, and it's often humans that they're seeking out, she said. Male bottlenose dolphins tend to form tight bonds with one another, which they reinforce by chasing, biting, and touching one another, including in sexual ways. So when they're socially isolated, Hawkins said, they can be quite pushy, they can be quite aggressive, they can bite. And that's all part of their normal behavior in the dolphin society, she said. But towards humans, it's obviously something that can be quite dangerous and can cause quite serious injuries. So in the context of this animal, it's certainly the case that we want to make sure that it is given space.
So yeah, I mean, it looks like it might be a little unfair to call this dolphin a sexual predator. Seems just as likely that this dolphin simply wants a friend. Now, unfortunately, for us, there's no such thing as a chill platonic friendship with a dolphin, because for dolphins, friendship is still very sexual and very rough. Dolphins are gay. Or more accurately, dolphins are pansexual and polyamorous. The boys love rubbing their junk together. The girls have been known to put that very conveniently shaped snout of theirs to work on their fellow ladies.
This is like Rome.
Yeah. Debaucherous.
Yeah, they're just having orgies down there.
Yeah, it's the kinksters of the sea.
Yeah.
And yeah, when no other dolphins are around, they make do. They find ways to get off, whether it's using a dead fish as a fleshlight or, as has occurred multiple times, in which we've covered over the years, engaging in sexual relationships with human beings, both male and female. It's happened in separate incidents.
Yeah.
Isolated human beings fell in love with dolphins and fucked them.
They must be the ultimate evolution of humans.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about that, but yeah, maybe at some point, the early man crawled back into the sea. Said, it's more fun out here. It's more fun out here. There's nothing to do on land except play with your thing. And in the sea, no gravity, do a lot more.
The real Atlantis is just a gigantic dolphin orgy.
Yeah.
In an undisclosed location.
And, you know, the great thing about turning into a dolphin, that's one more hole, baby. It's an extra hole. So, yeah, the lesson here, I think, is that when you enter the ocean, you are no longer subject to the laws of the land. They do things a little bit different out there.
International waters out there. There's no rules. You can gamble. The dolphins can fuck whatever they want.
You might not like it, but when you're in the water, you're playing by dolphin rules. And they do things a little bit different.
Well, great. Let's move on
They just need to get this dolphin a girlfriend.
Yeah, maybe
Find a lonely lady dolphin, introduce them.
They're going to come up with like a lady
and then
robot
they'll start having
dolphin.
rough sex and they can stop bothering everyone else.
Lady robot dolphin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then it follows it out to sea.
Yeah. But I feel like dolphins are too smart to fall for something like that.
Elliot, there are plenty of humans fucking robots right this second.
Yeah, why can't we make a sex doll for a dolphin?
I'm sure they're working on it right now.
Powered by AI.
Yes. If you said that to, if you're like a scientist right
AI
now,
dolphin.
and you're looking for funding,
Yeah.
just start dropping AI into whatever research you're doing and don't use it. Just
here's $1 million.
But let's move over to the world of humans.
Boo.
I know. It's time to check in on one of the OGs of the Weekly Weird News Rogues Gallery, a character that we've been following now for 9 years, who somehow, even after a lengthy prison sentence, still manages to provide delicious content for our hungry news bellies. It is time to check in on our old friend, Martin Shkreli. And this latest news is an update to one of the many long-running subplots in the Shkreli saga. It concerns the one-of-a-kind Wu-Tang Clan album, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, which was auctioned off and purchased by none other than real-life villain Martin Shkreli, who by that point was already infamous for buying the patent to a life-saving medication and jacking up the price by 4,000%. Later, when Shkreli was convicted of financial crimes, the album was seized along with other assets by the federal government, who auctioned off the album and sold it to some crypto NFT group called PleaserDAO, who have started exhibiting the album at museums and selling partial ownership of it as those NFTs.
Boo. I hate all these people.
Yeah.
Everyone involved in this album sucks, except for the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
So Shkreli, he's been out of the picture for a long time. Why is this suddenly news again? Well, according to PleaserDAO, Shkreli made copies of the album, as evidenced by the fact that he literally streamed it for his fans on Twitter years after relinquishing custody of it. And this is supposedly in violation of both the original terms of the purchase of the album and also the terms of its forfeiture to the US government, I guess. PleaserDAO bought the damn thing so that they could be the ones who had it and sell pieces of it. The fact that Martin Shkreli retained copies of it makes PleaserDAO less valuable.
And also, once again, opens up a gaping wound in the crypto trading marketplace.
Yeah.
You can just copy things?
This is still significantly less embarrassing than when that DAO bought Jodorowsky's Dune concept book and thought that meant they owned the copyright to Dune.
Mm-hmm.
And paid a lot of money. Like, paid way more. There was like an auction for it and someone was like $500,000. And they're like, $10 million. And they're like, okay.
Sure.
Sweet, we own Dune now.
Genius.
We're going to be making our own Dune movies. Anyway, obviously, there are no heroes in the story. And Martin Shkreli versus some crypto bros is actually much more enjoyable than when it was Martin Shkreli versus people with toxoplasmosis and HIV. So in this case, let them fight.
Yeah.
But for the latest on this case, here's Ars Technica.
But after purchasing the album and sharing the collective ownership of its NFT, PleaserDAO discovered that its one-of-a-kind object wasn't quite as exclusive as it had thought.
Oh my God.
Shkreli had, in fact, made copies of the music.
What?
Lots of copies.
No!
On June 30th, 2022, PleaserDAO said that Shkreli played music from the album on his YouTube channel and stated, "Of course I made MP3 copies. They're like hidden in safes all around the world. I'm not stupid. I don't buy something for $2 million just so I can keep one copy." Shkreli began taunting PleaserDAO members about the album, telling one of them, "I literally play it on my Discord all the time. You're an idiot." And claiming that PleaserDAO was concerned about an album that more than 5,000 people have. Shkreli claimed on a 2024 podcast that he had burned the album and sent it to like 50 different chicks, and that it has been extremely good for his sex life.
Okay, buddy.
Ladies, please, leak that album.
I mean,
I won't judge you for sleeping with Martin Shkreli. Just release the Wu-Tang Clan
I feel
album.
like at this point, like I feel like I've seen it get leaked multiple times.
I don't know. I've heard
He's
like the
played it
snippets.
so many
I've
times.
heard the snippets, but
and also like the whole thing about it that is funny is like my understanding at least. This was a bunch of like Wu-Tang Clan like outtakes that they
reconstructed.
They didn't
into
have any
something.
fucking use for. Like they hadn't released new music in years.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple members had died. And so, like, as part of this concept, they're like, well, we have all this shit lying around. I don't know, producer, do something with this. So from what I hear, it's not especially good.
Well,
Which makes sense, because, like,
yeah.
if you're making music, you want your good stuff to be something that people actually hear, not just one rich asshole who buys it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be cool to listen to, I guess.
Sure.
It continues, though. Shkreli even offered to send copies of the album to random internet commenters if they would just send him their email addy. He also told people to look out for a torrent and hosted listening parties for the album on his X account, which reached potentially over 4,900 listeners. Well, you know all of these details because PleaserDAO has sued Shkreli, claiming that he is acting in violation of the asset forfeiture order and that he is misappropriating trade secrets under New York law. Shkreli knew that by distributing copies of the album's data and files, or by playing it publicly, his actions would decrease the album's marketability and value, said PleaserDAO. They have asked a federal judge to stop Shkreli and also to get them a list of everyone he has distributed the album to. Oh, good luck.
His list of sexual conquest, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, as of Monday, Martin Shkreli was ordered by a federal judge to turn over all of his copies to his lawyers and swear under oath that he no longer possesses the album in any form. He also has to submit a list to the court containing the names and contact information of everyone he shared the files with. And what a list it'll be. People he's had sex with and people who respect him online.
This is interesting because, like, I feel like no one under at least 30 would even know who the Wu-Tang Clan are.
Come on, Elliot.
Like, you're not picking up 20-something babes with, hey, want to listen to Wu-Tang Clan? What is that? Why would I, what are you talking about? You're old and weird.
I think this is kind of your age too, because it's like, did you not listen to, I don't know, Led Zeppelin when you were 20? Or a teenager, like it's the music has evolved. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's available for people to listen to.
I don't know. Are we at a point where people, like young people, are into classic hip hop and they turn their nose up at people who listen to modern hip hop?
I don't think they turn their noses up to it, but I'm sure that they're aware of it and enjoy it.
I was born in the wrong generation. I should have been around in the 80s.
Have you not
for
seen
Grandmaster Flash?
Have you not seen how Gen Z's fucking dressing? It's all 90s shit. It's I'm telling you, they definitely do.
All right. Well, maybe. Okay.
So yeah, I think
I'm just saying, if I was trying to impress young people, I would not talk about the Wu-Tang Clan. That wouldn't be my go-to thing. I'd probably talk about Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
And Brat Summer and.
And
Charlie XCX.
Elliot is not HOTTO to go or whatever,
no.
And he's definitely not a femininomenon.
Yeah, and I'd be like, hey, what are you doing? You say you're bisexual, but that's a boyfriend that you're bringing to your Chapel Roan show with you. Mm-hmm. Boo! You should be banned. I'm out here defending music. Anyway.
I think the kids like Wu-Tang Clan, and I'm going to keep that thought in my head.
Wu-Tang Clan's for the children.
Anyways, that's just a preliminary injunction. The trial hasn't even started yet. So this is exciting because if we know Martin Shkreli, we know the odds of Martin Shkreli actually doing any of that are basically zero.
Yeah, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, I turned it over. And here's a list.
Yeah, he's going to be like, yeah, I don't have any more. And then like 6 months from now, like the second the trial ends, he's going to like stream that shit on Twitter and laugh.
I wouldn't be surprised if like unknowingly, like the Trump campaign used a song off of it during... They can't
That'd be so weird.
They can't use any music at all except for that one Lee Greenwood song. So I'm sure they're just going through everything. I mean, Cash Rules Everything Around Me would be a great Republican Party song.
Yeah, because it's true. Yeah.
Anyways, we look forward to seeing how this case progresses, but now let's move on to some news out of Hong Kong that confirms that teenagers, much like dolphins, are basically the same everywhere on Earth.
Yeah. Here's the BBC. It may be an innocent enough racket sport, but Hong Kong's Education Bureau has unintentionally given badminton a whole new meaning. In teaching materials it released last week, a module titled Adolescence and Intimate Relationships for Secondary Year 3 suggested that teenagers who wanted to have sex with each other could go out to play badminton together instead. The materials also include a form called My Commitment, aimed at getting young lovers to attest that they would exercise self-discipline, self-control, and resistance to pornography. The new materials have raised eyebrows and attracted criticism for being out of touch, but officials have defended the decision. Meanwhile, social media has been flooded with jokes centered around playing badminton.
FWB, Friends with Benefits, Friends with Badminton, read one comment on Instagram that had more than 1,000 likes. In English, Netflix and chill. In Cantonese, play badminton together, read a Facebook post which was shared more than 500 times. Even Olympics badminton player Si Ying Swoot could not resist a comment. Everyone is making an appointment to play badminton. Is everyone really into badminton? She asked on Threads with a smirking face emoji. To Thomas Tang, who is an amateur badminton player, the jokes and sudden increased interest in the sport have made it slightly embarrassing for players like him. In the past, this was just a healthy sport, but now if you ask people to play badminton, they make a lot of jokes, he said, adding that the irony was that badminton was actually a good way for guys to meet girls. We talked about it yesterday. I don't talk about running that much. It's just what I fucking do. But second of all, this is the exact problem now with run clubs. It's like, I like going.
Great place to meet chicks.
I like going and training for like races and stuff like that. But it's such every newspaper in the country has ran an article that's like, here's the hot new singles thing, and it is bizarre. Luckily, my club is actively hostile towards that.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are. There's a run club in Venice that makes
I'm sure it's just a polycool over there.
They make single people go in front of the entire group and say that they're single before they start the run.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And,
I'm just trying to jog.
And apparently it's like, I haven't gone to that one yet, although I am interested in just seeing it for once because there's apparently hundreds of people and they just take over the streets.
Oh, so like a
like critical
club?
mass. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
But yes, it is weird. Like I used to like feel so like proud wearing my run club stuff around, and now it's just asking to play for a
you're
badminton
in a run
partner.
club. You must all be sucking and fucking on each other like a bunch of dolphins.
There is a really funny sketch where it was about run clubs, and it's a guy, and he's going, and he's like, oh God, when's this going to be over? I've been edging for 3 miles.
But no, it is true. Like, just in general, I mean, just meeting, the first step to finding romantic companionship is just being more social, and sports are a good way of expanding your social circle.
Yes, you are two people participating in a like-minded activity.
Yeah.
Something you presumably both enjoy and have in common.
But I bet this guy before, this badminton player they quoted, I'm sure before, like he did, like when he'd meet a chick, be like, hey, you want to go play badminton? Just as like, you know, a casual date. And now she's like, I think this guy's trying to fuck me.
Yeah.
It's pretty forward of you to suggest badminton.
That's why we need to poison Hong Kong and the rest of mainland China with pickleball.
Yep.
Yeah.
The U.S. Open's happening, and just read an article. It was about how they are still just very anti-pickleball.
Oh, of course.
But they're kind of giving in because they have invented a new form of tennis that's meant for children.
Yeah.
That uses a pickleball-sized court, but just like a different ball and smaller racket.
It's mini tennis, yeah?
Yeah, it's basically,
That's basically what pickleball is.
Because they're like teaching like a fucking 5-year-old to play tennis on a full-size tennis court is really hard because it's a big court. Mm-hmm. And they can't really, the distances are too long.
I did it during the pandemic because it was a social activity you could do during the pandemic. But the whole time, even when I saw like the professional stuff, I'm like, in my mind, this feels like something you would do during recess.
Yeah.
This isn't an adult cool thing to do. It's fun.
The first time I saw that shit.
It's fun because it's fun in the same way that you're playing Foursquare is fun.
Yeah. The first time I saw that shit like on a TV at a bar or on like ESPN, the Ocho, I was like, oh, come on. And it was not exciting to watch.
It's not exciting. It is exciting to play.
Like you watch tennis, professional tennis, and you're like, holy shit. Like these people, I know I couldn't do any of that.
Yeah.
You watch professional fucking tap, and it's like...
As evidenced by the fact that I was pretty good at it when I...
Well, you were playing against the elderly.
They called me Wheels. I was all over that court, baby.
Anyways, yeah, good luck at the badminton court,
Yeah,
folks.
badminton and chill. Yeah. You know it, kids.
But we got the headlines half of the episode coming right up. First, though, we got to let you know that this episode is sponsored by ZocDoc. There are some things in life that are okay if it's just a total crapshoot, like trying out a new type of milk for your coffee, or impulse buying something you saw on an Instagram ad, or rolling the dice on a new workout class. But finding the right doctor shouldn't be a total crapshoot. And with ZocDoc, it's not, because you've actually got more options than you even know.
ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and who are highly rated by verified patients. You can also see their actual appointment openings, choose a time that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit.
Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. After all our years of navigating this country's dysfunctional healthcare and insurance system, we can say with full confidence that something like this would have saved us so much time over the years, but it's finally here. So stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That is ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird. ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird.
All right, time to get into the weirdest, craziest, wildest headlines from around the world this week. Starting with the greatest sport on earth, undeniable, Not talking about pickleball. Not talking about running or badminton. No, we're talking about American baseball, baby.
That's right.
Greatest sport on earth.
Baru.
Catcher Danny Jansen becomes first player in Major League Baseball history to play on both teams in the same game. We love this sport, don't we, folks?
And yeah, you hear something like that, you're like, how is that possible? I'll tell you why. Baseball is one of the few remaining sports that is played outdoors and therefore subject to the whims of weather. And sometimes sometimes the weather's bad and the game gets canceled. Sometimes the game starts and then the weather gets bad and you got to stop halfway through and say, we'll pick this up later. And sometimes in the months between the start of the game and the end of the game, people get traded. So the catcher for the Toronto Blue Jays ended up as the catcher of the Boston Red Sox. And therefore played catcher for both teams in the same game.
This isn't even like that crazy of a thing, because when I first saw the headline, I was like, when you're at the trade deadline, people get traded mid-game and just leave the game.
Yeah.
So when I first saw the headline, I was like, wow, that actually is crazy. He just put on a different uniform and kept going.
That would be even wilder if it did actually happen within one game.
Yeah, because getting traded during a game does absolutely happen. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Best game on earth. Gotta love it. Shohei Ohtani's dog threw out the first pitch earlier this week.
He rolled it out. He mouthed it out.
He did as good a job as he could as a dog.
Did better than George Bush.
That's true. Now watch this pitch.
Legendary rock band faked farewell tour to sell tickets.
That's every legendary
That's
rock band.
all of them, but like, this is Deep Purple, and they just straight up admit it, because they're like, yeah, you're getting older, and it's getting harder to sell tickets. So our promoter came up with the idea of a farewell tour, and we're like, well, we don't want to like lie, so we'll call the tour the Long Goodbye Tour.
Yeah.
Because eventually we're gonna say goodbye.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did that, and then like 2 years later, they're like, all right, new tour. And people were like, wait, I thought
the longer goodbye.
Like, I mean, we're still saying goodbye.
This is the longest goodbye I've ever heard. This
is like every big band has had something similar happen.
Yes. The two ways that bands really get around this or have actually perfected marketing to get people back out to see them again is, one, they'll do a farewell tour, but that only means that they're not touring. Like an actual structured tour. They will play festivals everywhere, and they will play single one-off shows or a little string of shows, but they're not doing a North America or world tour. And the other way is like a show I'm going to this weekend, they do only album tours. Like right now, the Get Up Kids is playing Just Something to Write Home About. And there's I'm trying to think of one that I went to recently where it was just that. But a couple years ago, I went to Poison the Well was playing Opposite of December. Between the Buried and Me playing Colors. Like, they just do album tours, which is great because if you weren't alive or you were a child when they were touring or whatever, you get to see what that tour would have been like and see a lot of your favorite songs that maybe they weren't putting into the set list.
My favorite version of this is when the band clearly, like, they're all on very good terms and they just, like, have, like, fucking side projects and shit they want to do. So they're like, oh, God, yeah, so we're breaking up. This is it. And then they go and do that shit and get it out of their system. And, like, a year later, they're like, all right, now it's time for the reunion tour.
That was what happened, and I called it out the day it happened, was when Swedish House Mafia broke up.
Yeah.
It was just like, guys.
Wait, we can make more money now individually.
Yeah. They're all doing their own separate things.
Yeah.
And now it wasn't even like 3 years or something. It was like 3 or 4 years. They're like, and the reunion tour is such a massive marketing thing.
Yeah, I love it. It's great marketing.
Meanwhile, you have a real band like Oasis who actually hates each other.
Yeah, they're back.
They're back, and I'm very excited. I'm trying to convince Elliot over here that it is imperative to our business that we go and see them in Ireland before they break up again.
We're not getting fucking tickets, is what I'm saying.
They're going to come here. They're going to come here. It'll be fine.
And then we're probably not going to get to, when they come here, they're going to play at fucking Forum for like a SoFi or somewhere, and tickets are going to be like $1,000 because the whole fucking live music industry in America hates its customers and wants them to feel
That's what I'm saying. You get a trip to Ireland for the same price as a ticket here.
Yeah.
That's what everyone did with Taylor Swift.
But you got to get the tickets.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to sell out.
Well, yeah, obviously. They're already adding dates. Anyways, enough Oasis talk.
Hiker left behind on mountain by coworkers during office retreat, stranded overnight amid freezing rain, high winds. Are
you coming back? Hello?
This is in Denver, And I guess as a team building exercise, they went on a hike up one of the many mountains in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened, but this one guy was like a straggler. And I have to assume that either everyone he works with is a dick or he's a dick that no one else likes because he got left behind somehow. And while they were going down the mountain ahead of him, they were removing all of the like trail markers that were left behind. So he got lost, but he was still in like cell phone range and was like calling them being like, how do I get back? And they're like, you'll be fine. Just, you got this. And then they made it all the way to the bottom. And he's like, I'm still up here. I'm lost. It's getting cold. And he's like, all right, I don't know. I will call the park ranger or something. Anyway, I gotta be
Rest
home
of the
for
team
dinner.
is doing great. They loved the team building
see
exercise.
You at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find him for like a whole night. He just was up there shivering and wet and cold. So it's gonna be an awkward Monday, probably.
Yeah. HR is gonna have a busy day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's I either feel really bad for this guy because all of his coworkers are assholes, or maybe he deserved it. Like I can fully picture both scenarios where like we've definitely all had a coworker where if they were like left behind on a hike, you're like, I'm not going out of my fucking way to accommodate this fucking asshole and his stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
He can deal with it himself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If anyone in Denver, Colorado knows any of the people involved in this, maybe you can enlighten us.
Is this guy an asshole? Should we feel bad?
Is he an asshole or are the coworkers the assholes?
Next headline, Memphis, Tennessee murder suspect crashes through ceiling as U.S. Marshals search for him. Damn, he would have got away with it too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't for falling through the ceiling like a comical spy film.
Like just coffin flopping out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's this is the thing. In America, you can't walk in the attic. We don't build our houses good.
You gotta step on the beams.
They're basically made out of paper. Yeah,
you step on the beams, not the fucking roof.
You gotta step on the beams.
Yeah.
Drywall cannot support
dumbass
a human adult male.
Has he never seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yeah, and that was back when we used to build things in this country.
Yeah.
Even then, not strong enough. You gotta walk on the beams.
That's right.
So yeah, it sounds like this guy's like a bad person, killed people. So
good for that roof.
It's got to be like you're a cop and you're like searching. You're like, I'm searching someone's house. He could be hiding anywhere.
Eventually, they would have looked at the attic, right?
Eventually, but like it's got to be nice that that is a stressful situation, and you're like, fuck, like I wish this guy would just surrender, and then he just falls out of the ceiling.
What do you think he's gonna do? Fall out of the sky?
Yeah. All right, thank
Boom.
God. That was easy.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And now the only problem is I can't bill for all the overtime that I would have gotten if this had taken a little bit longer.
Yeah.
A homemade aquarium appeared in a Brooklyn tree bed. Then came the goldfish heist.
Can't have anything nice. Can't even have a cool little installation without everyone ruining it.
So it's like a fire hydrant in, like the sidewalks. There's areas that have dirt for where a tree goes.
Yeah.
This one, the fire hydrant was leaking and it had created basically a tiny pond.
Yeah.
Tiny pond, like 2 feet by 2 feet. And some locals in Bed-Stuy decided to go to the pet store down the street, buy some goldfish and dump them in there.
Yeah.
And it was like a little local attraction. There's the world's tiniest goldfish pond. And then it turns into this whole thing between like young white recent arrivals and old black residents who've lived there for generations where, the young white people are like, actually, like the goldfish, they don't like it. It's dangerous for them. You should stop that. And the old black guy would be like, what? Everyone loves the goldfish. What are you talking about? And then
Buddy, I got news for you. Those goldfish are not going to be happy no matter what choice is made on their lives.
Well, like the old guy makes a good point. He's like, people literally buy this to just like feed to their
bigger fish.
Bigger fish. Yeah. Like, so then the young whites, they stole the goldfish to like rehome them. It's a very silly story. And you
can't have anything nice.
And kind of emblematic of like a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff that's happened in New York City over the past few decades. There's a great quote though where someone asked the main guy guarding the fish, like, what aren't you worried about? Like rats are gonna come eat these fish. And he like points to like one of the goldfish that is a black goldfish. And he's like, that one there is Eric Adams.
Okay.
Ain't nobody messing with Eric Adams.
Do you see Eric Adams lighting a bunch of marijuana on fire this week?
Yeah, like an insane amount, which pissed me off because that's not necessary. Ever since I started home composting, I'm like, listen, just get a good pile going, make a hole in there, dump the marijuana in, cover it back up. That shit will be unusable within like an hour or so.
Yeah,
and it will be unrecognizable within like a couple of days. There's no need to burn all this weed.
But it was such an Eric Adams thing too, because A, he smelled it for quality.
Yeah.
He grabbed one of the bags and smelled it. B, it was playing the In New York in the background.
You'll never guess which song he played.
And also, yes, because there were people confused. Weed is legal in New York, but they've had a massive problem with illegal dispensaries that are actually ruining the real dispensaries.
They legalized it like 2 years ago, and then just did apparently like nothing to keep up with the actual demand.
Okay, so
to create dispensaries. So people just started making dispensaries and selling weed, being like, well, it's legal and no one can get a fucking license.
It's worse than that. There's a great podcast. There's like a 2-part series. I think the podcast is Search Engine, but there's a 2-part series. It goes into the fact that their initial goals were like very good. They wanted to make sure that people who had been arrested on weed charges were the first available to get licenses. But because the legalization had happened, there was absolutely no restrictions in place to stop anyone from just opening up a weed store and selling it, or the fact that it was decriminalized, that cops weren't going to go after those for popping up. So you had legitimate weed stores that were spending a lot of money testing their stuff, waiting in extremely long lines to get very expensive licenses that were just not making any money because of the illegal shops.
Yeah.
Is a very bungled rollout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because it's not like this was something no one's ever done before.
Yeah, last time I was there,
25 states that have done this, no problem.
Last time I was there, I don't know if I've seen one in LA, but it was crazy. I saw multiple weed food trucks. Like they weren't selling food, but they were mobile weed dispensaries that would just park on the corner and open up like a food truck.
Okay.
Yeah. Right next to the Mr. Frosty or whatever.
He literally could have picked up the phone and like, get me fucking Anthony Viragosa or Eric Garcetti and just be like, hey, how did you do this again? Okay, cool, bye.
I mean, we got our own problems here, but they're not as bad as that.
We do, but like I feel like the weed legalization in California was like, it went shockingly smoothly. Yeah. Where like I knew it was going to go smoothly, but it went even more smoothly than I would have ever guessed.
I can't remember exactly. They do go into it, but I believe it was because New York already has, for decades, had bodegas and everything already in place, where those owners are like, wow, a new income source.
Yeah.
And it was very easy for them to just go, okay, it's the factory. Okay, I guess we're doing weed now.
Yeah. And they're trying to do subway medallions, but for weed.
Oh, yeah.
Their whole taxi medallions. Yeah, the whole taxi medallions thing is another like insane thing that they only have in New York, where you buy like the rights to drive a taxi and it is
6 figures?
Non-fun. It's like an NFT where like you can sell that to someone else or like pass it down to your kid, and there's like a finite amount of them.
Yeah. So
like if you want to become a taxi driver in New York City, you have to like go on the open market and buy someone else's medallion for like whatever the fuck they're asking for.
But it's the most frustrating thing about this is that the intentions were so good, but they had no idea that people were going to immediately exploit it.
Yeah.
So next headline though, Kentucky man gets prison for hacking state systems to fake own death and avoid paying child support.
Very devilish.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I mean, he did, in his defense, he did owe like $100,000 in child support, which to me indicates that he had owed child support for a long time and just never paid it, ever. But he decided, I know how to get out of owing $100,000. I'm going to do a crime that lands me in prison for like 8 years by like stealing the identity of a doctor and using that to log into like state like health records in multiple states and changed my legal status to deceased. Yeah. And and it's like, great idea, except that like other people know who you are and are like, no, he's not dead. I would have heard about that if I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Elliot, you got to hand it to him. He's got that Kentucky unbridled spirit.
Unbridled. Yeah. Unbridled, unburdened.
Yeah.
And now unable to go outside the walls of a jail cell.
Yeah.
Oakland firefighters use jaws of life during call, put the tool down, and it's stolen. This is such a, like, not only a devious lick, but just like a incomprehensible lick because like, what the fuck is anyone gonna do with the jaws of life?
Whatever the fuck you want.
Hey, check this out. This thing can eat a car door.
Yeah.
But like,
You could break into any car. You're going to come out, now instead of like your car being on bricks, you're going to come out and it's going to look like a can of fish. It's going to have the top peeled back.
but like, I feel like this is something, I might be wrong, but I feel it probably has like a power source that isn't just like a 3-prong.
No.
Like, I feel like this is going into like at least.
It's like pneumatic, I believe.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think it's pneumatic.
Yeah.
Or hydraulic.
I think you need like a fire truck for this thing to even work.
Yeah.
So like, you're stealing it, you can't really use it. Who are you going to fucking sell it to? Like, who's in the market for a Jaws of Life? It's just
Again,
sort of
a lot of
baffling.
people, Elliot. They're
Like, I admit it would be fun to use once.
Yeah.
But like, you destroy a couple of things with the Jaws of Life,
Dude.
and then you're like, okay, well that's cool, fine. Also, this is really heavy.
You gotta watch out, because if it were me, I'd be on the hunt for another one so that I could have 2 on my hands.
They weigh 50 pounds each.
You don't think someone bigger than me could have 2 Jaws of Life? Be so sick. It'd be like Ash from Evil Dead. Yeah. Slowly chomping things.
Yeah.
Slowly, but very, very conveniently and easily chopping through
Slowly just tearing the doors off of cars.
things.
We need these things more than ever. The more Cybertrucks we get on the road, the more Jaws of Life.
Well, apparently you can just pull the side down of a...
That is true.
Yeah.
Nice little safety feature he put in.
Do you see that? God, I don't even want to bring it up, because if it's a screenshot image of a headline, I never want to trust it.
Oh.
But the one where the Cybertruck crashed into a fire a fire hydrant, and the fire hydrant went off, and then the Cybertruck caught fire.
Oh, yeah, I did see something like that. It's because lithium reacts with water very violently.
But it's obviously ironic to run into a fire hydrant and catch on fire, which is
it's
something you would see in a cartoon.
Yeah, it's like, I remember in high school, my chemistry class, my teacher, grumpy old...
Mr. Heisenberg?
Basically, he was like pretty... chemists are all like a very certain type of guy.
They've been huffing the fumes.
Well, yeah, and he was like, I should be wearing a mask, but I've been doing this shit for 40 years, so like, it's too late for me. I'm getting whatever I'm getting.
Would have loved to see him during the pandemic.
But he would like constantly like light the fucking... He'd set up the fire alarm like constantly, where like the security guy would come in and like peek in and be like, "You all good?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." But he, I think it was like potassium. He had this like solid fucking potassium pellets and like a bucket of water, and just like throw them in the bucket and they'd explode.
Yeah.
And that was like, that was the first time I was like, wait, some things create fire when you put them in water? That's pretty cool.
Those showers in the science lab at high school, they really are for emergency use only. We pulled one when I was a kid. It is fucking disgusting. It's like water that's been sitting there since it was installed.
It's like
and it's not like it's like looping back around and like active. It is just sitting there.
Yeah, it's like the sprinklers on the ceiling. The water in those is supposed to be just like black.
Yeah, no, that's what it was like. It was like mud water.
I thought it was like for washing eyes though.
No, the eyes one is on the ground.
Oh, okay.
There's one with like a giant triangle that you pull for the full body experience. The eyes one's just like a water fountain that sprays up.
My local all boys Catholic school, which I knew a couple of guys at.
Yeah.
And this was also the early 2000s. All boys, you could do get away with a lot more. But apparently, a prank would be like the dude just like getting naked and taking a shower in the the chemistry shower, like and do it like right before class, so people walk in and they see the naked dude showering.
Yeah.
And just be like. The teacher would be like, "All right, come on, boys, get out of there, put the pants on."
What's funny about that is, apparently, according to that story, they had done it so much that the water was actually circulating.
Yeah, it was a popular joke.
Great.
He did the thing.
FBI, after January 6th riot, insane clown posse hat was key for agents to arrest UP man.
That's the Upper Peninsula. That's more Michigan than Michigan.
That's right.
That's where Joe Perez at.
Insane clown posse hat, well, it's narrowed down the search to the Midwest, most likely Michigan.
Yeah, well, so this guy, I mean, they already knew who he was because he's
the Hatchet Man.
He literally like posted about it on public social media. But the fact that he was wearing the distinctive Hatchet Man hat made it very easy for them to comb through all of the footage from that day and be able to spot him like very easily, even when he was like wearing a mask on his face because he had that Hatchet Man. And it's...
And at least in the 90s, the Juggalos were considered by the FBI to be a gang.
I think they still technically are.
Maybe...
and also, this news has a lot of Juggalos upset because they mostly don't like Donald Trump.
Juggalos are for the most part, very, very great people. We've been over this. We're not going to go over it again, but we've had nothing but positive experiences.
Even the hardcore ones, like their politics can basically be summed up as just like anti-authority in general.
Yeah.
Like being a hardcore MAGA guy does not really gel that well with the Juggalo ethos, I think.
They're very accepting.
Yeah.
Almost radical acceptance, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great live band, too.
Speaking of January 6th, FBI uses January 6th rioters' self-published Amazon book as evidence against him. Sometimes it be your own self-published book.
Now would be a great time to claim that AI wrote it.
I mean, maybe it did. No, he wrote it back in like 2021.
Yeah.
Like right afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, here's a book about that time I stormed the Capitol and everything I did and why I did it. Yeah.
Like the OJ book.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mr. Policeman, I wrote you all the clues.
So great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one where like they knew that he was there, but then they learned a lot more from his own book that he published and presumably made ones of dollars off of.
Hey, is this your book? Couldn't put it down. Anyways, you're coming with me.
It's just one of those shitty like Kindle self-published books. It was like 100 pages. Sounds like it was not good.
Yeah. Imagine doing January 6th and only being able to write 100 pages about it.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, the reasons were simple.
Yeah.
And I'm a simple man.
New startup wants to sell you sunlight after dark using mirrors. And this is like insane bullshit. This is a theoretical.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that science fiction has theorized for a long time. I'm reading a book right now where like part of the terraforming of Mars involves setting up a bunch of like massive mirrors in the atmosphere to reflect more sunlight to heat up the planet, to speed up climate change on there. I think Russia tried just an experiment of this in the 80s just to see like if it was even possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
this is a startup that has created a video that is not real and not a current product, but is trying to get funded for something that they're trying to.
Yeah, well, you read the whole pitch and you're like, okay, that's interesting because like, yeah, if we are transitioning to solar power, if we can figure out a way to direct more solar energy at solar panels, like that's cool. You read all about this and then you get to the end of it and they're like, yeah, so signups are open now, and when you sign up, you are guaranteed a maximum of 4 minutes of sunlight per day.
Wow.
It's like, that's not going to do fucking anything.
Yeah. So again, theoretically, great.
Before I actually read what it was, I liked the idea of like paying just so like
bothering someone.
A beam of light illuminated just your house and yard, so you're out there barbecuing while all your neighbors are just like, fuck, god damn it,
he's called the sun down again.
Turn the sun off. Turn it off. Try to sleep.
But yes, theoretically,
it's still daytime out here, buddy.
This would be great for something like that solar array out in Nevada.
Yeah. It has, I mean, again, this is an idea that has been around for a long time. It's just, once again, it's a startup pitching something that is well beyond what they're actually capable of doing.
The idea that you currently, or in any point in the near future, will open up your phone and press a button and have a satellite in space move a mirror
please.
that shines it on you is absurd. Don't give them money. Ugh.
Or do, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Anyways, that's it for this week's episode of Weekly Weird News. Please hit the like button.
He did it.
Do it right now.
Like it.
Click the like button right now. Leave a comment. Talk about whatever we talked about today amongst yourselves. And be sure to watch our most recent videos right over here. We got Donnie Trump squatting in front of the grave. We got much more for you. Check both of those out, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.